But anyway, both here representing Moyu, both here representing the cubicle, and we're gonna open by talking about Gan. We've assembled the Moyu crew to talk about Gan, but specifically to talk about Gan SSL. You two are both well versed in WCA competitions and in competitions in general. First of all, what was your kind of vibe? What was your take on it? On I guess the format of it all. And we'll start with you, Dylan, on this one. What was your take on the whole kind of shape of it?
I mean, I have long been online talking about how I think the double elimination bracket is like the future of competitive cubing. I think China does it like the issue with competitive cubing to get people in is like you have to have an understanding of how it all works, but it's a lot easier to just be like, oh, this guy did faster than this guy. And like that's super simple and it makes it a lot more engaging for people. And then like it gets the crowd more hyped. It's easier for storylines. I thought SSL was like super cool. I mean, I was able to commentate the English rebroadcast of it and like seeing the whole thing, it was like really great experience. Yeah, I think like the double elim bracket, if we just get more varying formats in WCA comps, I think it'll be huge for cubing.
Yeah, it was really fun to see. Very simple to understand. It was like, it was as close, apart from maybe Red Bull, it was as close as I've ever seen to something that I can imagine my mates watching. My mates who are not cubers was kind of my take on it. Antoine, did you watch? I assume, you didn't go along? I don't know where you are in China. I don't know if you're anywhere close by.
Yeah, so actually it's one of the like only competitions in the last few years that I actually watched live stream, and I watched Dylan's broadcast. So I want to say really good job for the commenting on that. It was really nice to watch. And like I have to say, like it didn't disappoint. Both the competition and the commenting. So especially with like with Timon's streak there, it really made it really exciting to watch. I didn't end up actually going, although I was very close to the competition. But let's just say that Moyu preferred their sponsorees not to go, and so I did not end up going. Ended up watching the live stream, but yeah. It was definitely a cool format, and I think something else that a lot of people might not be able to appreciate about that competition is all of like the logistics that came into it. So I mean, not just like the one final competition, but there was a lot of preparation. I know even just in China, they did more than 40 what are they called? 40 preparation competitions, 40 qualifying competitions. Originally, I heard they planned to do more than 60, and they ended up doing about 40 or so to qualify people, because like the Chinese cubers that came in, they weren't just like randomly selected. And there wasn't just like one or two. There was from what I heard, there was over 40 of those qualification competitions. They put a lot of work to make sure that everybody who should get in, everybody who should get in got in. And I think that's also something that a lot of people don't really appreciate. But that I think that it's good to know about too. Yeah, right. And your take on, I suppose I want to talk to you both about
smart cubes and their kind of development, because obviously we've just had the V10 AI, which I think I've seen you both using and talking about online. It looks pretty good. Like, honestly, in terms of hardware, it looks pretty good. I'm yet to be convinced about the app. I haven't seen the app yet, so that's my disclaimer on that. Smart cubes 2 years ago, it's fair to say, were kind of not super flash. Do we feel like we've arrived at a place where they're able to be taken a bit more seriously now?
Yeah, well, I mean, yes. Talking about the V10, I think that the hardware is definitely like top tier hardware. It's basically the same thing as the regular 3x3.
Cat attack, live cat attack. Sorry. Carry on, Antoine, carry on.
Yeah, so they're basically the same thing as their regular flagship 3x3, right? And so it's pretty much as good as you can get. And previously there were things that weren't quite different, but now they've recently released, like there's a maglev version of it. It's basically the same thing as the regular 3x3. And then even for 2x2, Moyu is going to be releasing a smart 2x2 soon. Like I've tried a prototype. And
I talked about that when I was yapping about that one, because we saw a video from Moyu that I couldn't understand, but there was a video from Moyu about that 2x2. Was the one that you got white with stickers as well? Because I thought that was very swag.
No, it was a stickerless one, I think.
Okay, I thought that was an incredible take for them to be releasing in 2024 a white cube with stickers. I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? White cube.
The first ever 2x2 has to be stickered.
Yeah, I think so. I would love to see that. That was how we did it not so long ago. Dylan, passing that to you as well then. Obviously, you were you had some unique insight into commentating. There were some big tech issues on the software side, but like from what I saw of what you were doing, it looked like you had enough to go on, right? In terms of what you were saying they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, at least like I much preferred the way that they presented the solves last year because the Chinese commentators last year at least, you were able to, they like immediately after the solve. I think a good thing about smart cubes is that you get like a instant reconstruction, right? So you don't need to wait for any of this stuff. And so being able to like instantly look it back, and then I can say as a commentator and like the top level solver, I can like comment on people's decision making and say, okay, well, what they did here is really good, or maybe what they did here could have been better. And I think that's super huge for if we want cubing to become spectator friendly in the future. It makes the commentator's job way better. Like you said, like there is a lot of technical issues that I think need to be worked out. I don't think we can say we're in the age of the smart cube yet. I will say that the V10 AI that I've used, I've done like 4,000 solves on it. Have never had a desync once. I have had desync problems with like the GAN before, so like maybe it's just a company specific thing. But another thing with smart cubes that if you want to do smart cube comps, I think it has to solely be like a branded company comp. Because unfortunately, like I'm pretty sure there's discrepancies between, at least I was talking to my friends about it, but discrepancies between internal clocks on smart cubes. And so if you're doing a competition between multiple brands, it's very hard to ensure that everyone has equal timing. One of the benefits of smart cubes though is like it's getting rid of sliding and timer stop problems. And I think that's super proactive. And like eventually I think smart cubes are the future. And I think it'd be silly to say like, oh, the WCA should just have like a verified sensor in the cube that all companies need to use if they want it to be competition legal. Like it's just such a barrier to entry. So I think smart cube like can exist. Just I think it's gonna have to be something outside the WCA. Although I would love a world where the WCA legalizes all smart cubes, and then we have like every single solve ever in the database like put on someone's profile, like stored to the cloud. You could click like any result and then you could just see the reconstruction. Like I think that is ultimately what I want to see, but that's just such like a idealistic future. I don't think it's gonna happen.
That's got a dystopian vibe to it, that one. Like there's just no hiding from your solves in that. That would be interesting. That would be really wild. I feel like, yeah, that whole standardization of hardware, I feel like that would be such an overreach and an unmanageable overreach of an organization like the WCA. And certainly I don't know anything about the hardware inside them, really, if I'm honest. But I feel like, yeah, obviously I hear what you're saying with the branded competitions, and I don't mind. Like, what is a speed cube? What is a smart cube competition other than a branding exercise, really? Because it's a company holding up their product and going, look at how much fun we're having with this thing, right? And I really hope that we'll see Moyu doing one.